Must be it. Hey, Tenley, how you doing? Can you hear me, Tenley? It says you're connecting to audio. Can you hear me? Hey, are you there?
I am here now. Yes. How you doing?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I have a helper with me tonight.
You do. Hi, helper. How are you?
This is Allie.
Allie, how are you doing?
Good.
Is Tenley making you work hard?
Yeah.
Wow, is she making you read that whole book she just picked up? Oof.
Yep. She's gonna read it to us line by line here.
I know that book. Oh.
So LP, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I was gone last week. I was cutting wood for the cabin. So yeah.
A necessary thing.
Did we find out about Sydney? Did she pass?
Yes, she passed. She just has to go through course 2 and 3 now, or finish course 2 and 3
Yeah,
tests.
yeah, I passed too.
Wait. Passed your licensure test?
I passed course 1
Oh, okay.
and I
Okay.
scheduled course 2 because, it takes a while or they're so booked up.
Yeah.
So I have course 2 scheduled for June 13th. And then I want to figure out now how to take my state test.
Okay.
Because since I got 55 out of 60.
Mhm.
So since I felt pretty comfortable with that test, I want to take my state test before I forget it.
I would.
So do I just go through, is it Purview? Do you know how or I could just look, but if you know.
I don't know anymore. They've changed it so much
Okay.
with COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
Take a look. Otherwise, email Jessica and Irene.
I'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
but the state test is very similar to course 1 test. Is that correct?
Kind of.
So when you say kind of, what do you mean? Is it tougher?
Yes. Well, yes and no. I honestly thought that it was different. Same level of difficulty.
Mhm.
It just wasn't solely based on course 1. They actually have some stuff now that is from course 2.
Okay.
But if you're mostly comfortable, then take it. I mean, most of it is pretty self-explanatory, quite frankly.
Okay. Is it same, like, is it 60 points, same deal? You got to get 70%, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that scheduled so I can get that done and just keep it fresh. Because that was I studied a lot for that, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oof.
Well,
So,
and you might as well just like I said, get it done, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
get all
right,
those check marks.
Right. Okay. So anyways, I'm hogging the whole conversation again as always.
No, that's okay. I mean, as of right now, it's just you and I. So
That's what it sounds like, looks like.
yeah. Well, last week, between you and Sydney being gone, nobody showed up.
So is it normally just like people who are testing that, like, yeah, and then once you
they're done
pass,
with their licensure tests, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just kind of go through, get the testing done, and then you're
Sure.
through.
Sure.
And that's really all we do is that stuff. Beyond that, there's no why.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. So, do you want to go over some math stuff? Are you comfortable with math? I don't remember.
I do feel pretty comfortable with the math. I think where I probably am the weakest is when it comes to the different types of what do you call it? Like deeds and like if the life one where if you have a life, is it, I don't know, a life what already, I forgot.
No,
And then
title transfers and
title, yes.
Yep.
So maybe those, if you can find that stuff quickly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's literally just finding the right spot. That's all.
Right.
I think.
My allergies are bad, so.
State or national?
I would say state, because that's probably, what I'm gonna be doing next. So yeah.
That's what I was gonna say too. Okay, sounds good. Well, then we're just gonna go through some questions.
Sure. Yeah.
You ready? Okay. Do you need something to draw? Do you want me to give you an assignment to draw?
Sure.
Okay. Elfie, what should Allie draw?
How about a cat? I like cats.
Yeah, okay,
A big fluffy cat.
perfect. Good idea.
All right.
Okay, so LP, an owner of a condominium unit is in default on her monthly association fee. Which remedy is available for the association? Foreclosure by advertisement on its assessment lien if necessary.
No,
Change the locks on the unit doors until payment is received.
no,
File a special assessment lien in the recorder's office.
no.
No remedy.
So this is for a condominium. They're late on their association.
Yep, they are in default.
You know, I know if you go to sell it, you have to get that, you know, that'll be part of what they take from you at closing. I don't think any of those are right. So I'm gonna say no, D.
Actually, A, foreclosure
What?
by advertisement on its
What?
assessment lien. Yep.
Really?
Yep, really.
Wow, I don't think I've run into that question anywhere. Okay.
I know we went over, I don't know if you and I went over, I know we went over it recently though. Recently enough that I'm like, oh yeah. Do I
So
need
they
to
would
go over this?
advertise that in the paper, are you saying, or what? Really?
Mhm.
So if they don't pay their association dues, they will foreclose that way.
Correct.
Wow, good to know.
I
Okay.
had it happen to a client.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
I have a townhouse, so I'm up at the lake this week, and it's an association. So
yep.
so yeah, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, good. That was a good question then.
See, there we go. There we
Right?
go.
Right.
Okay, so a married couple has separated. They owned their home as joint tenants, but each has purchased a new home to live in prior to the divorce. What would they do to release each other's interests in properties?
Quick claim.
I didn't even have to go through the answers. Look at you go. You can leave it in there, honey. Do you want to show her?
Sure.
Oh,
Where's
can you?
the-
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that kitty. What's its name?
Catherine.
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 Catherine the cat. I
Wow.
like that.
I do too. Maybe you could color it.
Give some color. And then I think it needs a puppy friend on the next page too.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, can you do Mowgli?
Yeah.
Okay. It's my dog, Mowgli.
Okay.
Okay. A seller must disclose the status and location of all known wells on the property before A, signing the listing agreement, B, signing a purchase agreement, C, advertising the property for sale, or D, substantive contact is made with a potential buyer.
A was before signing a listing.
Correct.
Yeah, because they have to do, that's part of the listing agreement is they do the disclosure then.
So it's tricky, actually.
Say it again then, say it again.
Yep. A seller must disclose the status
Uh-huh,
and location
uh-huh.
of all known wells on the property.
Yep,
That's your key. I need to disclose that there is a well.
yep.
To anybody who is looking. But I do not need to disclose their status and location until signing the listing agreement, signing a purchase agreement, advertising the property for sale, or substantive contact is made. So it's not signing the listing agreement.
It's not D.
Correct.
And B is the purchase agreement and C is the what?
Advertising the property for sale.
Oh, when they advertise it for sale, because then they would list it in there.
It's actually, which one is it, Allie?
Purchase. Process of elimination's gotta be B.
Signing a purchase agreement. So, yep. So what happens is signing the listing agreement, that's just telling me where things are as the agent. That doesn't tell anybody anything else. Substantive contact with any potential buyer. Well, that at the open house, that's telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry that walks through the door where the well is and what the status is, and that you just
Okay.
don't need or want to tell them.
Okay.
And then advertising the property for sale, that's even more people knowing versus just a potential buyer. Because I'm not looking for a house as an average person, but I'll still see it when somebody says, "Oh, I'm selling my house."
Right.
And I see that, right?
Right. So they do though, they do list that, like they have a disclosure, they have to do the disclosure statement when they're doing the listing agreement, right?
There is a seller's disclosure in there, correct? Yep.
Yes, okay, all right, okay.
Yep, but
Ooh,
that's
these are-
different.
Yeah, and that just goes to the agents.
The agents then give it to buyers who are serious about potentially buying the house. So not just people who are like, "Oh, let's take a look at it. Oh, it's so cute," but no, thank you. Those are
Right.
like, "Hey, this fits all of our needs, and I think I want to buy it. Yeah, let's do this."
Then they just look at the disclosure, okay. All right, got it, go.
Beautiful. A married couple is getting divorced. They currently own a home as joint tenants. Their divorce will A, create a spousal rights lien on the property, create a tenancy in common, C, not affect homestead property, or D, sever the joint tenancy.
It will sever the joint tenancy.
Beautiful.
Okay, shoo. Okay, 2 for
Done.
2.
There we go.
No,
All right.
2 for 4.
4. Yep. That's, hey, these are not easy ones. Lay down, Molds. My dog also decided to join us now.
Right.
This is it's a party over here, Mia.
You got more people there than I do.
Well, and Allie's mom is here, and my husband, and they're outside. Oh, it's
All right, nice night to be sitting outside.
totally. Okay. All of the following would be considered common interest communities, except a planned community, a fourplex, a condominium, or a cooperative.
A fourplex.
There you go. An individual holds ownership in a condominium in severalty. In severalty plus A, joint tenancy in the common elements. B, owner in the common element, severalty owner in the common elements.
No.
D, divided interest in the common elements. Or D, tenancy in common in the common elements.
Okay, so read the answers again.
Joint tenancy,
No.
severalty owner,
No.
divided
This isn't the
interest.
common area, right? Like
Uh-huh.
what kind of ownership they have of the common area?
And correct.
Right? Yeah, okay, go on. Let's see.
Divided interest
Yes.
or tenancy in common.
You know, they could.
Tell me walk me
think
through what divided interest and tenancy in common are, and it'll answer it for you.
Common or tenants in common could be more than one person, and if they were to die, it passes on to their heirs. It's not a survivorship thing. I think they
Are you
own
sure?
equal. Am I sure? Is it tenants in common?
Yep.
So what's the other one then?
Divided interest.
Yeah.
So if Allie and I shared a house together,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm done and I don't want this anymore, then I need to go find somebody to buy my shares. It's kind of like a timeshare.
Oh. Oh, dang
So I just
it.
don't get to wipe my hands and be like, I'm done. Where tenancy in common, if I sell my shares, then there you go. Done.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Oof, that was a tough one. Oof. These are all tough.
This unit 2. That giant quilt is really comfy too. Little.
I'm doing unit 2 now, and I'm doing the they're starting the market analysis.
That'll help.
Now he's cozy.
That'll help a lot. Okay. The owner of a property, and we can just keep going through this unit too.
Yeah.
If this
Yeah.
is like a tough one, we'll go through it and then we'll go through it again
Yeah.
and again, and we'll
Like
keep
it?
going. That looks just like him.
Yeah, the color.
He does. How about some flowers around him too?
Oh, look it.
Oh, is he snuggling with your hand? The owner of a property has applied for a building permit for new construction that will include a private septic system. In order to obtain a building permit, the owner must obtain which document from a licensed inspector or site evaluator? Do you know off the top of your head?
Is this for the well? They have to get a something for the well or for the house?
This is for the private septic system.
So
The
you have to
owner-
get a certificate of compliance, I believe. Yes.
You got it. That's
And
exactly
if
what it
it's
is.
new, it's good for 5 years. If it's existing, it's good for 3 years.
Well, that was the next 2 questions. So done.
No, what, really?
Done and done. Even better. Now, the next one, when converting an apartment building to condominiums, this kind of goes with it. The owner must provide the tenants with a notice to vacate in a minimum of how many
60?
days?
60?
one
Oh,
more.
they have 60 days. They have to do it within 10. Give me the answers.
It's okay. 30, 60, 120, or 180.
So what's the question again?
When converting an apartment building to condominiums.
Yep.
That's the key. The owner must provide tenants with a notice to vacate in a minimum of,
60.
it's actually 120.
120. Yeah.
So the reason why it's 120 is 120 days gives them 2 months to try and find either a new apartment or be able to qualify for the condo purchase. Then if they have to move out, then they have to provide the 60-day notice.
Okay. 60 days. Yeah, 60 days isn't enough time for all that stuff, really, is it?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So,
Okay. Oof, these are
but
tough.
you killed it on the other stuff. That's great.
Yeah, the septic tank I did.
You were on that one. Okay. Which of the following must a seller disclose to a potential buyer? Suicide, seller has HIV, medical marijuana user, or a homicide occurred in the home.
Ooh, medical marijuana is fine. It's got to be the suicide. What? What's the, well,
Homicide.
oh, no, that's what I meant to say, Tenley. That's what I meant
Oh,
to
is that what
say.
you meant to say? Yeah. Okay.
I meant to say that, but you're right. I said suicide.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
the homicide.
Yep. So why can't it be HIV?
That's a protected class.
Correct. Why? Which protected class?
The disabled, the handicapped, the under that one, isn't it?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
What about medical marijuana?
No, that's fine because it's medical. It's like prescribed. It's okay.
It's actually the same reason as
Oh.
HIV.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Why isn't a suicide?
you know, that has a stigma to it, but it's not, it doesn't have to be just.
Bless you.
Excuse me, allergies. But it doesn't
hear
have
ya.
to be disclosed. You know, I don't know any more than that.
It's actually just because it's kind of a combo. One, homicides are targeted, suicides are not. There's a stigma to it that could potentially cause issues. And
Yeah.
with that, a suicide carries a lot of like, people will always assume that there was some kind of mental disability there. Not, and I hesitate to say disability, right? But
I
like
suppose it could
mentally,
be,
there was
sure.
something that they couldn't get through, right? Whatever it is, whatever it was, right? We don't know.
Right.
But they always like to assume the best. And so we just don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Now, scenario for you. You are representing the buyer. And your buyer has a religious reasons for not buying that house, that it's against their religion to buy a house that somebody died in for whatever reason, let's say.
Mhm.
And you find out that there was a suicide there. Are you required to disclose that?
Oof.
You do not represent the seller. You represent only the buyer.
The buyer who has a religious belief on stuff, and you know this, you, so you have the, confidential, whatever, you know, to the buyer. Do you have to disclose that? If that's considered in the, you know, the equal opportunity thing, I'm gonna say no.
You do.
Because
Think of
I
an
owe
old
them
car.
that. Old car, yep.
You must, if you hear or find something out, you must disclose it. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Okay. All right.
Whether the seller has to disclose it or not, you must disclose all your knowledge.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. That's a tricky one.
It is.
That one I don't think will be on the test. Nothing like that.
Not.
But I figured I would throw it in there.
Do it.
why
Yeah,
not?
bring it on.
Okay, so under the Common Interest Ownership Act, a purchaser may rescind a purchase agreement within 10 days after receipt of the disclosure statement, first viewing the property, receipt of the signed purchase agreement, or closing.
What was the question?
Under the Common Interest Ownership Act, a purchaser may rescind a purchase agreement within 10 days after what? Receipt of the disclosure statement. First viewing the property. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Purchase statement's too late.
Correct. Yep. There you go.
Redeemed
you
myself a little bit.
You're doing great. Jones has purchased the home he was renting from Smith. Smith did not provide Jones with a property condition disclosure statement. Is this legal?
Yes,
Why?
because he lives in it, so therefore it's not required.
Correct.
Woo!
A decree of dissolution of marriage severs all joint tenancies except A, the homestead if owned fewer than 2 years. B, agriculture property of more than 10 years. 10 acres, excuse me. Joint tenancies, the decree preserves. Only joint tenancies acquired after the marriage.
The one before that where the decree preserves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Which entity may not assess charges on a property?
Which entity may not assess
charges
charges?
on a property. I'll give you the answers. The
Please.
city for mowing grass and shoveling snow to comply with ordinances. Common interest community associations for costs incurred by the association. C, countries for road improvements benefiting the property. Or D, trade associations for street beautification projects.
What was the question again, when they cannot do an assessment?
Which entity may not assess charges on a property?
Okay, read me the answers one more time.
The city for mowing grass and shoveling snow to comply with ordinances.
I believe they can.
Correct. Common interest community associations for costs incurred by the association.
Costs incurred by, that may be costs incurred by the association. You know, I mean, they charge me stuff if it goes above and beyond, so I would say yes, they can.
Correct.
Okay,
Counties, I need my glasses. Counties for road improvements benefiting the property.
I would say they can.
Trade associations for street beautification projects.
Trade associations. I
Correct.
would think they cannot.
Correct. Exactly.
Woo.
Look at you go.
Trade
That's it.
association threw me for a little bit. I was like, trade association.
So that's like those adopt a highways.
Oh,
You're like, when you see the Eagle Scouts of chapter 23 or whatever, I don't know.
yeah.
Those are trade associations. That's what that is.
All right. Cool.
Look at you. Okay.
The loons are going crazy outside right now. I have the windows open. It's so awesome.
I love that.
I do too.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. A buyer with a contract for deed on a residential property is in default.
Okay.
The process the seller would use to gain equitable title to the property is
Termination.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Perfect. A homeowner has entered into a verbal contract for remodeling. The remodeling was completed 30 days ago, and the general contractor has not been paid. Which of the following is true? A, there are no lien rights allowed with verbal contracts. B, the contractor cannot file a lien unless the project cost exceeds state small claims court minimum requirements.
No.
C, the contractor cannot file a lien unless he has delivered the required notice within 10 days after the remodel was agreed upon.
I would say that's probably it, but let's listen to D.
D, the contractor has the right to serve notice and file a lien up to 120 days after completion of the remodel.
Yes. See? They have to do the notice, and then for for contractor, do they have to do it within 45 days?
10 days.
They have to file the lien within 10 days?
The lien cannot file a lien unless he delivered the required notice within 10 days after the remodel was agreed upon.
Okay, because I remember it's 10, 10, 45, 120.
Yep.
Okay.
This is one of the 10s.
Okay. Contractors are 10, generals are 45 and 120. Okay.
Good job.
Sink that in.
Okay. A homeowner hires an architect to draw plans for a new home. Upon completion of the plans, the homeowner does not pay. The architect could record a lien against the property, A, if there was a written contract, B, within 1 year of final advertised judgment against the property owner. C, within 120 days if proper lien notice was provided to the property owner. Or D, within 120 days regardless of whether notice was provided.
C, notice has to be provided.
Good job.
Okay, good.
If there was a verbal agreement to perform improvements to real property, the mechanic's lien must be delivered by A, certified mail or personal delivery, B, posting the notice at the job site, C, sending the notice via email, or D, including the notice on the project estimate.
A. Or you could put it in your contract. You could put the words right in the contract. What was the question again?
If there was a verbal agreement to
Verbal
perform
agreement.
improvements.
If it's verbal, there's no contract, there's no estimate. Well, there's still an estimate.
We're not talking real estate. We're talking improvements to real property. In the state of Minnesota, a verbal agreement is binding.
So it would be, I want to say C.
It's A, you are correct. Certified mail or personal property or personal
Oh,
delivery.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. At the end of the lease, how long does a landlord have to either return the tenant's security deposit or provide a written explanation for any amount? that has
21
been
days.
Beautiful. According to the landlord tenant, if a tenant leaves behind personal property after the termination, the landlord must store and reasonably care for the property a minimum of how many days? 10, 21, 28, or 60?
Oh, dang it. 21.
28.
28. Ugh.
Yep.
28.
Just think as almost a month.
Almost a month. Don't they have to give them notice about it for like in 14 days?
Mhm.
Don't they have to say, hey, you got stuff here, and then they got to keep it for, okay, 28 days.
Correct. All right. A residential property owner is in default on a mortgage loan. If the lender forecloses, typically, how long will the statutory redemption period be? 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, or 12 months?
You know, I know it differs if they have a third of their property, if their mortgage paid off, if it's agricultural land. So typically, you're saying typically how long do they have the redemption period? I'm gonna say 6 months.
Correct.
Phew, phew.
Look at you go. Guns a-blazing. What's the Minnesota state deed tax? How much per the net sale price?
Deed tax is on the sale, that is going to be 0.0023.
That's something different.
That's the mortgage, so it's 0.0033. Are they both listed there?
Mhm.
So, okay, I have a way to remember this. It's deed seller 33.
There you go.
Deed seller 33. Okay.
Love it. That's exactly what it is. How many acres may be included in a rural homestead?
Oh,
40,
boy. Okay.
80, 160, or 640?
How many can be included in a homestead?
A rural homestead.
Rural. How many can be included? Up to how many?
Up to 40,
Okay,
80, 160,
I think it's 160. Phew. Okay,
A registered land survey would be used in abstract property, Torrens property, personal property, or general property.
read the question again.
A registered land survey would be used in abstract,
Abstract,
Torrens,
not Torrens.
personal, or general.
No, no. Abstract.
It's actually Torrens.
It is?
Mhm.
I hate that Torrens guy.
Yeah, Torrens is really, really freaking frustrating, by the way.
He really screwed things up, didn't he?
And you know what? We don't use it that often either.
So
in the state of Minnesota.
registered, so that's the deal. It's a registered survey.
Registered land survey. Yep.
So Torrens, it's written down, everything's registered, so. Yeah, Torrens, I gotta make a note about Torrens. I just really don't like Torrens.
No, me either.
But you have
Oh.
seen it? Have you seen that in
No.
any of your, okay.
No.
Okay.
And here's a secret. I actually, Torrens questions on my test, I
Yeah.
skipped. I was in
You-
protest. It's like, nope.
Really? You just, nope,
Nope.
I'm not doing it.
But tell
Okay.
me, nope.
Oh, shoot.
How many of those did you skip? I don't know. How do you
Every
know?
one of them?
I don't remember. I didn't keep track. I just skipped them. Tenley, I'm like, well, it was better than getting it wrong. And they're like, no, that's
You can-
exactly. I'm like, oh, okay.
You could guess right.
I could
right?
have.
Yeah. All
But I
right, so
just didn't want to.
Torrens, I gotta read up on that. Okay, all right, next.
All right. Tenants who are going to be vacating the premises during the winter months.
Oh, they need to give notice of like 3 days or something. 3
I don't
days
even need
before
to
they
finish the question.
go.
3 days in advance.
Yes,
Yep, there you go. Why?
because pipes and shit get freeze.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Ashley. Sorry,
Allie, that's okay.
Allie, sorry.
You've heard worse from your dad, huh? So Allie's my sister-in-law, actually.
What?
Oh yeah. And so we
Oh, I
actually,
gotta hear this story.
so my father-in-law, my husband's dad, remarried someone a number of years younger.
Yeah.
And then they had Allie.
Aww.
And she's
Isn't that-
amazing. She's one of my
isn't that-
favorites.
Isn't that fun? Wow,
Right,
that's cool. I have some friends that have big families.
Yeah.
And like one of my girlfriends, her nephews are older than she is, and I think she's out of 9.
Okay.
And she's
Yep.
got nephews older than she is. Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Pretty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my husband is the oldest of 5. I mean, Allie's
Okay.
the youngest one, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
Fun. Okay.
So you're fine. And actually, we're gonna end like maybe 10 minutes early.
Oh gosh,
Um,
yeah, I'm gonna go out and listen to the loons.
Oh, do that. Well, we can end now if you're happy, if you're good to go, because quite frankly.
Let's do one more.
Okay, sounds good. I'll pick a good one here.
Yeah, pick a good one.
Okay. First National Savings and Loan has begun a judicial foreclosure on a defaulted mortgage. The lender had to foreclose in this way because the mortgage did not include A, an acceleration clause, B, an alienation clause,
That sales thing. Go on.
C, a defeasible clause, or D, a power of sale clause.
That one, power of sale clause. So they had to go through the judicial system. Good, I ended on a good note.
There you go. Okay, all of the following, one more. All the following classifications are protected under Minnesota Human Rights Act except sexual orientation, age, marital status, or religion.
Under Minnesota.
Yep.
Say that again, Tenley.
sexual orientation, age, marital status, or religion. Three of them are federal.
Age. Yes. Yes. All right.
You're more ready than you think you are.
We're done. I gotta tomorrow. That's my task, is to figure out how to get that state test
You can do it.
scheduled.
I'll talk to Irene as well and see if I can just discover something for you. And if I do, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, if you got time. Otherwise, enjoy your night. And Allie, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Alfie, I'll talk to you later. Bye,
Bye-bye.
honey.